everyone, my name is Hannah and I'm our educator here at Omnify. Today we're going to be talking about some flexible spending account basics. So how exactly does that pre-tax savings work? Deductions are going to come out of your paycheck without that state, federal, and FICA tax withholding. This does actually lower your taxable income for the year, and any subsequent withdrawals of those funds to pay for qualified expenses are tax-free. Tax savings on those qualified purchases can be anywhere from 20 to 35%, or sometimes even more, depending on your tax bracket. As I mentioned, those funds can be used for qualified medical, dental, and vision expenses. When we say qualified, that means it needs to be something that is a necessary medical expense. Your annual election is locked in throughout the year unless you have a change in status, and you do need to plan carefully because FSA dollars are use it or lose it. There are a couple exceptions to that depending on your plan design, and we will go over those here in just a minute. You do need to provide supporting documentation for any claims. And the nice thing about the FSA is that your funds are available on day one. So if you elect $2,000 for the year, you get those $2,000 right up front. FSA plans can be confusing for people sometimes because there are different plan design options depending on what your employer has chosen for you. If you have a grace period, this is typically around 2.5 months. This is the time after your plan year ends where you have additional time to pay for services provided or items purchased in that last year or within that grace period. So it's basically extra time that allows you to use up your last year's funds if you haven't spent them all. Your run-out period, which is typically 30, 60, or 90 days, again depending on how your plan is set up, is time after the plan year ends where claims and documentation can be turned in. This gives you time to wrap up last year's expenses and claims. Oftentimes we see the grace period and the run-out period running at the same time, so they kind of overlap with each other. You may have a run-out period and not have a grace period. And if that's the case, then your dates of care do have to still fall within that plan year and are not extended at all. You just get those extra 30, 60, or 90 days to finish submitting things for that prior year. As I mentioned previously, FSA plans are use it or lose it, so you will forfeit your funds at the end of the year if you have not spent them. However, your employer may offer you a rollover or carryover. This is a plan-defined amount after the plan year ends where a portion of your previous year's unused annual election will roll over into the next year if you've elected to have an FSA within that next plan year. That rollover or carryover will happen after your grace period and run out if those apply to you. The amount is determined by the IRS and then your employer. So the IRS sets an overall max for the rollover amount for the year, but your employer can choose anything up to that amount. So if you do have some of these options, it's always good to check in with your HR to know for sure how long your grace period and run out might be if you have those options, and if you have a rollover or carryover, how much you're able to carry over each year. Here are some typical qualified expenses that you are able to use your flexible spending account funds on. You can see that it's those medical, dental, and vision expenses. You can use these funds for copays and office visits, lab work, surgery, prescriptions. You can also use it for over-the-counter items like ibuprofen, Tylenol, allergy medicine, sunscreen. Dental is going to include very similar items, including orthodontia for you and your tax dependents, as well as fillings and crowns, extractions and implants. And vision will include those same items as well, including glasses and contact lenses. This is not an extensive list. There are many other items that are qualified to use your flexible spending account funds on. However, these are just some of the most common items that we see. The annual limit is set each year by the IRS, so if you're not sure what that limit is, I would either check with your HR or feel free to give us a call and we can let you know what that limit is as well. As I mentioned, you do have to provide documentation when submitting any claims or spending these funds. That documentation needs to include 5 things. That's the patient name, date of service, the amount that was due, the provider's name, and the services performed or the item purchased. In general, we say that an explanation of benefits is the gold standard. That's going to have everything that we need on it. Otherwise, an itemized receipt from your provider should work as well. Here's just a quick example of what acceptable documentation might look like. You can see those 5 things that we need circled on that piece of paper. This is going to be what an itemized receipt from your provider is going to look like. And when we say the provider, this could be the name of your doctor, the name of the practice, or it could be somewhere like Walgreens or Walmart if you're picking up a prescription or purchasing an over-the-counter item. If you have any questions for us about your flexible spending account or maybe another type of benefit account that you have with us, please feel free to reach out to our customer care team. You can reach them at 402-323-1815. We are available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., or you can reach out to us via email at support@omnifybenefits.com. And again, our website is omnifybenefits.com. If you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to check out the rest of our video library. You can find that by following the QR code on your screen, or check us out by searching for Omnify Employee Benefit Solutions on YouTube. Thanks so much and have a great day.